They went down this corridor, past the local draft board, and somehow got through this door into the FBI office.
Welcome to WatchMojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the most salacious, eye-popping, horrific, and in some cases harebrained operations and secrets in the history of the FBI.
The FBI is now watching the Panthers' every move.
Number 10, Operation Shocker. What do you do when you can't stop Soviet spies? You feed them lies. For 23 years, the FBI ran Operation Shocker, a covert deception program designed to mislead the KGB with fake intel, especially about U.S. nerve agent research. It all started with Army Sergeant Joseph Edward Cassidy, a planned defector the Soviets fully bought into. Cassidy handed over forged documents, all approved by top U.S. brass, to throw Soviet analysts off track. But the real shocker? 2 FBI agents died in a plane crash tied to the operation's surveillance. The truth was kept from their families for years. Even worse, some experts believe the fake intel may have helped the Soviets develop Novichok, one of the deadliest nerve agents ever made.
Novichok attacks the central nervous system, disrupting communication between the brain, the main organs, and muscles.
Number 9, Abscam. It started with a fake company, a fake investor, and some very real bribe money. Abscam was an FBI sting operation, where agents posed as representatives of a wealthy Arab sheik offering cash in exchange for political favors. The targets? Public officials, from local to federal. At the end of the operation, 6 congressmen and 1 U.S. senator were caught on hidden cameras accepting bribes.
This tape shows Representative Michael Myers of Pennsylvania taking a $50,000 bribe.
Originally dubbed Arab Scam, the FBI later claimed it meant Abdul Scam. Ultimately, the branding didn't matter. What mattered was that it worked. The footage was damning, the trials swift.
The government's need to unmask such conduct more than justified the investigative techniques employed.
Every single prosecution ended in conviction. Abscam pulled back the curtain on corruption in high places. Sometimes the best way to catch a crook is to just let them cook.
We put the big honeypot out there and all the flies came to us.
Number 8, the 28 pages. For years, they were the stuff of rumor and rage. 28 classified, redacted pages of a 2002 congressional report on 9/11. They were sealed from the public for over a decade, sparking years of questions and speculation.
28 redacted pages, which stick out like a sore thumb.
In 2016, the pages were finally declassified. Their contents were damning, if not surprising. The FBI explored possible links between the Saudi government and the 9/11 hijackers.
It said the following: while in the U.S., some of the 9/11 hijackers were in contact with and received support from individuals who may be connected to the Saudi government.
The FBI uncovered potential financial ties, never disclosing them to the public. Was it a cover-up, or was the government just trying to prevent an international incident? Well, just 5 years later, President Biden declassified another 16-page report linking the hijackers to Saudi nationals in the U.S.
To the families, it shows that there was direct government contact between some of the hijackers, which proves their view that the Saudi government was involved.
Number 7, Operation Monopoly. What do you get when you mix Cold War propaganda with a shovel and a blank check? Operation Monopoly. The FBI's ill-fated boondoggle to tap into Russian intelligence straight from the source. In 1977, the FBI began digging a massive tunnel dug directly under the Soviet embassy.
This is straight out of spy fiction, to build a tunnel underneath the Russian embassy in the United States in Washington, D.C.
It was wired for surveillance, but over the course of a quarter century provided no valuable intelligence whatsoever. In 2001, the FBI discovered why. Robert Hanssen, one of the worst moles in FBI history, told the Soviets all about the tunnel while it was still being dug.
He had access to a treasure trove of information.
For over 20 years, the FBI spent hundreds of millions of dollars to dig and maintain a tunnel the KGB already knew about.
Using the alias of Ramon Garcia, Hanssen made 22 dead drops in 5 years.
Number 6. Hollywood informants. During the Red Scare, the FBI didn't just investigate Hollywood, they infiltrated it. As Cold War paranoia swept the U.S., Hoover's bureau worked closely with studios to root out suspected communists.
We were using the same methods that Hoover accused the Communist Party of using.
He found his most useful tool by using industry insiders as informants. The resultant purges left a chilling effect on the industry. Careers were derailed, lives were upended, and Hollywood became an unlikely battleground in America's ideological war. Two of the Bureau's biggest collaborators were Walt Disney and Ronald Reagan. Disney's motives were calculated and capitalist. He spent decades calling animators communists in order to derail their fight for workers' rights. Reagan's actions were more ideological, if not egregious. As president of the Screen Actors Guild, he reportedly informed on his own members.
That small clique has been referred to, has been discussed as more or less following the tactics that we associate with the Communist Party.
Number 5. Dubious counterterrorism tactics. After 9/11, the FBI ramped up their counterterrorism efforts. Sometimes they used controversial tactics to keep the homeland safe.
Steve Anthony, the FBI agent in charge of the Cleveland office, says the plot was uncovered by an informant.
According to the ACLU and other legal scholars, the Bureau often relied on dubious sting operations. These efforts didn't just uncover terrorist plots, they manufactured them from whole cloth. The FBI leaned heavily on paid informants who targeted vulnerable individuals. Often, these people suffered from serious mental health issues and had no prior criminal history.
So far, Abdirahman Bashir has been paid more than $40,000 by the FBI, a fact that has enraged many in the Somali community.
These informants would steer targets into fake terror schemes, which the FBI would then swoop in to foil. A 2014 report found that agents were directly involved in many of the quote-unquote terror cases they later prosecuted. The FBI called it prevention, critics called it provocation.
What are the chances that Furtis will claim that he was entrapped? Well, he's going to try, Scott, but the agents say that over a period of months, they gave him multiple opportunities to back out.
Number 4. FBI surveillance planes. In 2015, journalists uncovered that the FBI was flying hundreds of low-altitude surveillance flights over American cities.
A review by the Associated Press published this week reported that the agency flew above more than 30 cities in 11 states over a 30-day period.
They kept these planes off the proverbial radar with a clever trick, registering them to fake companies. The aircraft carried high-resolution cameras and cell site simulators. These stingrays trick phones into connecting by posing as real cell towers, allowing FBI access. The ACLU raised alarms about the program, especially when planes flew over protests in Baltimore and Ferguson. The FBI claimed the flights were tied to specific investigations, but the scope was broad and the oversight minimal.
It's a very, very important program to support either criminal investigations or terrorism investigations.
In one case, agents logged nearly 430 hours of surveillance on a single suspect. No warrant, no transparency. Critics say the program is dragnet in disguise, flying low but watching everything.
At this point, people have gotten hold of the videos that they actually shoot from those planes, so you can see exactly what they're looking at.
Number 3, Operation Washtub. In the early Cold War, the U.S. had a big fear. With Alaska under U.S. control, the Soviets were almost in their backyard. What if they invaded Alaska? So, the FBI and Air Force launched Operation Washtub. Working together, they forged a secret plan to train everyday Alaskans as deep cover spies. They recruited miners, bush pilots, and fishermen, focusing on locals who knew the land and could blend in. If the Soviets ever moved in, these agents would stay behind. As sleeper agents, they could gather intel, reporting back through hidden radios and coded messages. The FBI got out of the program after only a few months, but it continued under the Air Force's guidance until 1959 when Alaska became a state. Number 2, the murder of Fred Hampton.
White people need some peace. If we are going to have to fight, we're going to have to struggle, we're going to have to struggle relentlessly.
On December 4th, 1969, Fred Hampton, the 21-year-old chairman of the Illinois Black Panther Party, was shot dead in his bed during a police raid. Official reports called it a shootout. The evidence said otherwise. Hampton was drugged by an FBI informant the night before. Police fired nearly 100 rounds, while Panthers inside fired 1. Hampton never left his bed.
Based on film, that all the bullets coming into that apartment came from one direction, and that was from the police side.
The FBI and Chicago PD coordinated the raid using detailed floor plans and intel supplied by that same informant. A federal investigation later revealed that the Bureau had actively tried to neutralize Hampton's influence. To this day, his murder is seen as one of the most blatant and chilling acts of politically motivated state violence in modern U.S. history.
What happened to Fred Hampton made us think that they weren't coming in just to do arrests, they were coming in to murder people.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into settings and switch on your notifications.
Number 1. COINTELPRO.
But of all the stolen files, that one would have the most far-reaching impact.
Short for Counterintelligence Program, COINTELPRO was the FBI's secret war on American activism. For 15 years, the Bureau spied on, infiltrated, and sabotaged political groups it deemed subversive.
COINTELPRO had started back actually in 1956 with a program that J. Edgar Hoover had initiated involving the Communist Party.
They targeted civil rights leaders, anti-war organizers, and liberation movements. The Bureau's tactics were invasive and often illegal. Warrantless wiretaps, forged documents, threats, and disinformation campaigns. The Black Panthers were a top target, as was the American Indian movement. The FBI planted informants, stoking internal division. They aggressively pursued AIM leaders like Leonard Peltier. COINTELPRO was exposed in 1971 after activists burglarized an FBI office and leaked its files. What they uncovered shocked the public and showed how far the government would go to crush dissent. Many believe such activities have continued even after the program's exposure.
It was un-American, it was harmful, it was a disgrace to our country, it hurt the reputation of the FBI.
In its more than century-long history, the FBI has done both incredible things to keep Americans safe and terrible things in the name of freedom. Do you know some of the FBI's dirtiest secrets? Let us know in the comments below.
I find it difficult to understand how the congressmen were as, in effect, easy.
They weren't easy. We were just good.